How's it going, everyone? It's Sam. Today we have a video with a pro trader, Dylan, who's going to be going through what he sees happening in the market in the next 24 hours, in the next couple months, and the rest of the cycle. We're going to be talking about what he is paying attention to, and I'll leave links to his socials underneath the video in case you want to follow him a little bit more. Now, he does work for CoinW, so he is a professional trader over there. If you do want to sign up with CoinW, there's a link underneath the video. You can actually join a trading group for free through Telegram. When you sign up with that link underneath the video, there's a second link to the Telegram group. And he's a pro trader in there, so he does trades every single day. He also mentions that he's willing to talk to people to give them advice and stuff like that on trades and help them walk through trading. Also, they do have a bit of a prize pool right now. They have up to $1 million. You can complete easy tasks to win prizes such as free flights and a 6-night hotel in any destination in Europe, MacBook, iPhone 15, and more. They also have something for free where you can just predict the different 51 euro football matches and win up to $100. And if you correctly predict them, you can get $500. You can predict the top 3 teams. You can win a $50 trade. So it's free. Just check out the link underneath the video. Dylan, thanks so much for coming back on the channel. We had you back by popular demand here. Everyone loved the last couple of videos, so I'm glad we could have you.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks so much for having me. It's always been a pleasure to be on your channel.
Yeah, definitely. And we'll leave links to you underneath the video. I'm sure I've already said this at this point, but we'll leave all your links underneath the video for people to follow along with you a little bit more. But let's get into the market. Obviously, the market has been kind of boring over the last couple weeks, I think, but we saw a bit of a drop yesterday. What are you seeing right now?
Yeah, so let me just share my screen quickly.
Yep.
Yeah, so we'll first take a look at Bitcoin, and then I'll go over some altcoins that I'm looking at. But right now, Bitcoin's looking really, really bad, to be honest with you. It's losing 67K. And basically what I'm looking at, the next key level for Bitcoin is 65K, which is this previous resistance / support. So I want to see what happens to Bitcoin tomorrow, like on the daily close, because if price closes below 67K on the daily time frame, I do think that we're most probably going to come back down to this range here, 65K. And then if we lose that, then 61K. But I mean, right now it's not looking too good. And then tomorrow we have CPI and FOMC. So that obviously it's going to have a massive impact on the markets. We have to watch out for that. And the reason for this dump, I think it was due to NFP, so non-farm payrolls on Friday. So it basically tells you how many people in the US are employed within that month, and it was actually a lot more than the forecasted, which obviously is really bullish for the dollar. And whatever happens to the dollar, the opposite happens to crypto, like most likely. So that's why we did see this massive dump actually within today and on Friday. So that was Friday over here, and then we just saw massive selling pressure continuation to the downside. So yeah, within the next couple of days, I am really only shorting. I am in a short for Ethereum. I'll go over that. But essentially, I do think that Bitcoin is most likely going to tap into 65K within the next day or so, because it's looking really, really weak, to be honest.
Sure.
Yeah, so I'll have a look at ETH quickly to show you guys what I'm looking at here.
Yeah. Can you remind people too what kind of a trader you are? Like, just because you're shorting, does that mean that you're macro, or like over the next year you're bearish or bullish, or is that not what it is?
No, yeah, I mean, if I'm shorting, it just means I'm just profiting on the way down, right? So if the market's looking bearish for the day, like this is daily stuff. It's not, I'm trading within the day. I'm not holding these trades for months and months. Like I'm not expecting Bitcoin to go to 40K or 50K. These trades that I'm taking it's more really like 4 to 6 hours within the day. Yeah, so if I'm saying like I'm bearish, like now, it means I'm bearish for the day, and maybe within the next 2 to 3 days. It doesn't mean that I think Bitcoin's gonna go back to 40K. But it just means if I say bearish, it means like for the day. Yeah, I know a lot of people, even in my community, I do say like we bearish today, but people think like bearish means okay, he's bearish, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's but yeah, I can see why a lot of people do think that way. Same thing with Ethereum. Ethereum was trading in this range over here. It was consolidating, and I took a short on the breakout, looking to target 3,500, 3,462, which is your previous resistance over here. We'll just wait for it to load, but yeah, if it breaks 3,460, you can see over here, this is a very, very strong level. So I'm expecting Ethereum to bounce this level, right? Because if you look at the chart, like on Bitcoin and ETH, like the higher time frames are still bullish, right? We know that the market goes up and then retraces. So we haven't really seen like a retracement. And a lot of people, when people see this, they think, oh, but like Ethereum's going to die, Bitcoin's going to go back down to 40K. But the thing is, no, the market is just retracing back down to like half of the upside move. So normally we see like half of the upside move or 618 of the upside move, which basically means it comes down 61.8% of the move to the upside. So it's just general market structure. The overall trend is bullish. But I mean, you can see that when we consolidate for Ethereum and we're breaking below support, the probability of price coming down to the next key level is more likely, right? So I'm not gonna, because I'm bullish like on the high time frame, I'm not gonna take a long here when it's breaking support, right? I'll be taking shorts back down to the next zone. So because my strategy is very I'm a scalper, so I take trades within like on the 15-minute time frame, even like the 5-minute, depending on the volatility. It doesn't mean that I'm bearish as a whole. I mean, I'm very bullish in crypto. I mean, I've got a lot of money in crypto, so it's just what I like to do is I like to short the market, use the profits, and then invest into altcoins, right? So that's kind of how I do it. I use the profits that I make from trading, and then I'll just put it into altcoins. I don't really care what the price is, because I do know that most of these coins are going to 10 to 20x within the next 2 years. So yeah, I mean, Ethereum's looking bearish on the day, but looking to target like 3,462. And then, yeah, I'll probably open up a long here if price can bounce from the zone. It looks like a nice bounce zone for Ethereum, but if we lose that level, we have this whole imbalance to fill over here. So basically, with trading, the market has gaps. So when it goes up, sometimes there's a lot of people aren't really selling or buying here. It's just a whole buying pressure from over here, and no one's really shorting. So we do see the market sometimes tap into these gaps, which is what could potentially happen. And then we see a massive reaction within this green box over here. So yeah, we might just see a massive liquidity seep tomorrow because of CPI and FOMC. We know FOMC is crazy. Like whenever Jerome Powell opens up his mouth, like the whole market just does its own thing. So yeah, these trades that I'm taking today are just for the day, and I'll be closing a bit later, depending if we can reach the target.
Sure.
But yeah, that's Ethereum. Yeah.
So Bitcoin's been getting into a smaller and smaller channel, or a smaller triangle. You're expecting it to break to the downside or the upside, depending on the results that come out tomorrow, or you're guessing that will continue down?
Yeah, I mean, so like looking at the price action now, I mean, it broke. This was the trend line, okay? And I do trade with trend line. You see, like if you look on the higher time frame, it's still making higher highs and higher lows, right? But if you look at Fibonacci, so this tool I use to basically show me key levels where price may come down. So remember, the market doesn't just go straight up, right? It has to retrace, even in a bull market, right? We're obviously in a clear bull market right now, and the market does retrace sometimes 20 to 30% of the local tops. So, I mean, I just see this as a massive like buying opportunities. And I mean, if we break this level, the 0.5 level is over here, 64K. So around about 65, 64K. And then the next zone over here is 62K. And this is where if Bitcoin can come to 62K, then I'm definitely going to open up a long at that zone. The probability of us going up from that zone is really, really likely because of this current move that we're having right now. So, I mean, right now, we're breaking 67, which is not good. But if price comes down to these zones, then this is where we can look at a really, really good long. I'll be putting limit orders within these areas, like a 5x or like a 3x, and then potentially long to the top, back up to these zones, potentially break out over here. But yeah, short term, it's not looking good. And then obviously tomorrow, we don't really know what's going to happen with CPI and FOMC. But I mean, normally, I mean, it's hard to tell, to be honest. But we'll see what happens. Yeah.
Okay. Let's look at Bitcoin dominance because
Yes.
it has been in a relentless uptrend for the last 18 months or so. Do you see that breaking down at all? I mean, I've been looking at that same trend line you have been, and it's just kind of flirting around up and down. But I'm curious your thoughts.
Yeah. So I was speaking about this today in my group, and I was thinking this was the altcoins going to start popping off this retest over here, and we're just going to come back down to 51. Like I was pretty certain on that. But it's looking. I mean, this is still looking really, really strong for Bitcoin dominance, and I don't see the altcoin season happening within the next like 1 to 2 months, just because of how strong this is. I mean, when it was over here, I was honestly thinking that we're going to see like Solana back to 300. We're going to see like AVAX ripping to 85. All these big things, and that's just not going to happen yet. Bitcoin dominance is too high. The daily candle yesterday closed really, really strong. Potentially maybe form a triple top over here, and this is where we can see the reaction. What I'll be looking at is this level here at 56. If price can come up here and then we have a nice reaction off that zone, then this is a potential where we can come down. But if we break through here, I honestly don't think we will. I think this is going to be the last push for Bitcoin dominance. And once we get here, we see the altcoins start to pop and Bitcoin maybe just go sideways for the next couple months. And then we see like 50 to 60% moves, which is what I'm looking at. But I mean, right now it's looking way too strong.
Yeah, meme coins and AI have been strong. Solana's been pretty strong, but it seems like a lot of other layer ones haven't really done much. A lot of gaming cryptos, and I'm curious. Do you think that's just because of the Bitcoin ETFs, or do you think it's the last little bit of like, oh, this is boring before everything flips, like it always does in crypto, where everyone thinks something's dead and then it finally runs?
Yeah. I mean, I remember in 2021, the bull markets where we had all the ecosystems pumping, and then Phantom was like the last one to pump. And it literally it took like Solana pumped for like a month, and then Phantom only like 6 months later we had like a random Phantom ecosystem rally. So I'm thinking it's looking like it is narrative based at the moment. Like if we look at a narrative that's been doing really well in the last couple months is the real RWA, real world assets like Ondo, right? Like this coin is just really, really bullish compared to, I mean, if you look at Bitcoin compared to Ondo, we are seeing, I mean, this is looking like a completely different chart, right? So I think it's in this bull market, it's just narrative based. Like meme coins, the last couple months have just been crazy. AI coins like Render and all of those coins in the last couple months also been crazy. But layer ones, yeah, you're right about layer ones. I'm not too sure about that in terms of if there's going to be a push for that. But I think for me, what I'm mainly just focusing on the narratives like AI and real world assets. That's going to be my main picks for this bull market, just because of how price actions looks. And I mean, this if Ondo comes back down here, it's still really, really bullish, right? So like, I'll be longing again for Ondo at like $1, because that's a beautiful retest. So there's a couple coins that I'm looking at for this next leg down if it does go down. But yeah, that's my thoughts on that.
Sure. Let's look at just the broader picture.
Yeah.
And we teased a little bit of the cryptos that you're interested in. We'll leave links to you underneath the video so people can go follow you, figure out what you're taking your profits in. When you're taking profits on your trade, what are you buying? We'll leave links to all that underneath the video so you can get all that info. But let's just look like over the summer and then maybe end of year, end of cycle. Where do you think Bitcoin goes? Where do you think the crypto market goes?
Yeah. So I mean, if you're looking at Bitcoin, I do think that we're probably going to see by the end of the year, we probably will see Bitcoin at like 80K. There is a target. A lot of people are talking about 84K, which is a level that if you draw the Fibonacci from these lows to these highs, there's a 1.618 level. So basically, these levels are the targets of which price is most likely going to get once it breaks out of the 74K. And the 84K is definitely the target. And I do think that that's going to happen because if you look at this chart, like if you're looking at it right now, this does not look bearish to you at all, right? I mean, it's just really, really strong. I mean, obviously, if you're going down to the 4 hour, the 1 hour, it's looking like we're coming down. But if you literally just zoom out to the daily and the weekly, this is looking really, really strong. And in order for Bitcoin to actually come down to the lower targets, it has to break through so many levels, which is I just don't see happening. I do see like potentially a drop to 60K, 61, 62. And like I said, that's where I'm going to be going long back up to 84. So within the next like 2 to 3 months, we're probably going to see like 84K and potentially by the end of the year, the 100K mark. I do think that could happen. Yeah.
Okay. And end of cycle?
End of cycle. Yeah, that's a tricky one to answer. Yeah, I mean, we could. It's hard to say. Like now, I mean, probably like 120, 130. I'll probably start taking profits on my altcoins. So if Bitcoin hits like 120, 130, then I'll be looking at taking some profits on altcoins. Then from that point, what I'll do is whenever Bitcoin goes down like 20 to 30%, like in the retracement, then I'll start to add more to altcoins and stuff like that. So because this whole move here, right, from Bitcoin from this high to here, this low was 23%, okay? And within that, we had lots of altcoins start running up, right, at the bottom of this level over here. So if you buying altcoins when Bitcoin drops 20 to 25% from the highs, I think that's a really good strategy. That's what I'm going to be doing, because basically that's been how the whole bull market has been running, right? If you look at if you come back over here, I don't know why it's taking so long to load here, but essentially like every 23, there we go. So what was this? This was like here, right? We had a move of 25% and then we had a move up, but this was obviously when we had that strong move to the downside. But if you accumulate from 20 to 25% intervals, that's what I'm going to be doing, especially in the altcoins, because I don't really hold much Bitcoin because I just don't think there's that much potential. Obviously, if you're buying at these levels, in order for you to 2x your money, it has to go to 130,000, right? 120. So like for me, it's not really worth it. I'll rather be focusing on like the narratives like AI, and we all know that Apple and Google and Nvidia, all of these massive corporations, institutions are AI is just literally going to take over the world. So that's going to be drawn into crypto, and I think the next 1 to 2 years, AI is going to run the market, and we're going to see I'll really outperform Bitcoin. And when Bitcoin starts to consolidate, and the Bitcoin dominance finally comes down, we were speaking about that earlier. Then, yeah, I do think that the AI market is going to be crazy. So yeah.
Awesome. Well, Dylan, thanks so much for coming back on the channel. Again, we'll leave links to all your socials underneath so people can go follow you and look at the cryptos that you're bullish on. Is there any last things you want to hit on?
Yeah, well, I mean, thanks so much for having me on here. It's always a pleasure to be on your channel. And yeah, thanks again.
Yeah, definitely. Again, follow him underneath the video, and we'll have to get you back for another one. We'll see you in the
Awesome.
next one. Bye.